How to pick a lock. Only pick your own locks, or you could wind up in a lot of trouble. Locked yourself out of the house? Most common pin and tumbler locks can be picked with a little luck and finesse, so before you call a locksmith, try this. You will need a paperclip or safety pin and a tension wrench. Optional, a second paperclip. Step 1. Get a paperclip or safety pin and bend it straight. Now make a slight upwards bend at the very end. You can buy a professional lockpick set at a hardware store. There's a basic size intended for American locks. Step 2. Insert your wrench into the lower part of the keyhole. That is, the side opposite the one where the key's teeth would go in. Step 3. Figure out which way the lock needs to be turned to open by turning the wrench clockwise and then counterclockwise. You'll feel which way has more give. Step 4. Turn the lock the correct way with the wrench, putting slight pressure on it. Hold the wrench in place. Step 5. While keeping pressure on the lock, insert the paperclip into the top part of the keyhole. Step 6. Feel around the keyhole with a paperclip until you locate the pins. If you're picking a common door lock, there will most likely be at least 5 of them in a row. Before you start, many experts suggest raking the lock. Straighten your second paperclip, put a few bends at the wire's end, and, with no pressure on your wrench, shove it to the back of the lock. Now pull it out quickly, pressing against the top of the lock while gently turning your wrench. You might just set a pin or 2 that way. Step 7. Now for the actual picking. One at a time, push each pin up with a paperclip. Try to feel for the moment when the pin reaches its unlocked position. You should feel a slight give, or even hear a faint click. Start with the pin furthest away from you, then move on to the next. Step 8. As you go, apply slightly more pressure with the wrench until you have all the pins lifted up. Step 9. Now turn the wrench fully. Voila! The lock will pop open. Did you know wooden locks were used as far back as 4,000 years ago in ancient Egypt? How to pick a lock. Only pick your own locks, or you could wind up in a lot of trouble. Locked yourself out of the house? Most